going on, guys? Welcome back. A little different commentary for you. But before I get into this video, I have to let you know it's brought to you by my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. Also, in the pinned comment, you'll find a link for some of their summer-themed flavors, along with a t-shirt and a shaker cup for $9.99 plus shipping, and Webull, where with my referral link, they will give you the best promotion they have. All you have to do is click the link, open an account. They're going to give you free stock. If you deposit $1 or any amount over $1, they're going to give you more free stock. And I understand some of you might not like baseball, but if you like sports, by default, you like watching history. And the 2023 Major League Baseball season is giving you a chance to watch history, as its current worst team, the Oakland Athletics, is hitting their stride in what could be one of the historically worst teams ever. Now, let me first say, I don't dislike the Oakland Athletics. In fact, every sports fan should look at what's going on right now in Oakland as a cautionary tale, because this franchise should never be in this position to start with. And we'll get into why that is later on in the video, because I want to start off by talking about one of the real shames here. Because in the spirit of Ricky Henderson, Esteury Ruiz is stealing these larger bases like, well, Ricky Henderson. He's currently leading all of Major League Baseball and is on pace to steal as many, if not more, than Ricky did in 1989. And the fact that it took bases the size of a pizza box for him to accomplish this should tell you all you need to know about the athlete Ricky was in spending 14 of his 25 years in Oakland. And while we don't have any sample size to go on in comparison to steals with these larger bases, this early in the season, 28 steals is a pretty big number. And in contrast, 46 losses is a pretty big number too. As Oakland limps into their series against the Marlins, having lost 12 of the last 14, it doesn't look like a lot is going to change. So prepare to be shocked. But Cleveland actually holds the worst record in baseball history at 20 wins and 124 losses. But I need you to understand that that team was in a far different era. The rules were so much different back then. But when you look at Oakland's current .207 record, they are the fourth worst team in baseball history. And that history I'm talking to you about is a bottom five compiled of teams that played between 1890 and 1899. So while maybe you're used to talking trash to your Cleveland friends when it comes to sports, chances are you're not talking about those 1899 Cleveland Spiders. Now, if you want to look at a more modern comparison, 162 game format, in 2003, Detroit went 43 and 119 for a 265 record. Oakland right now is on pace to have around 28 to 32 wins. But like I said, it did not have to be this way. You know, Oakland is tied third all time in World Series titles with Boston. And yes, some of them came before they moved to Oakland in 1968, but they've had some fairly dominant years. In 1972, 73, and 74, they won 3 straight championships. They went to 3 straight championships again in 1988, 89, and 90. They won the 1989 series, and it's not like they haven't been successful recently. 5 of the last 10 years, they've had playoff appearances. You can actually boil Oakland's failures down to 2 things. And these 2 things can impact any city, any sport, any team, any fan. Number 1, they didn't respect their players. And number 2, they didn't respect their fans. Let's start with their players. Key losses in Oakland over the last 3 years. We'll start with all-star reliever Liam Hendriks, who recently had a triumph over cancer that transcended sports. Pitching mainstay Chris Bassett, who was rewarded for his 2021 All-Star season in Oakland by being traded to the Mets for 2 pitching prospects. He recently signed with the Blue Jays and threw a complete game shutout earlier this year. First baseman Matt Olson, 2 Gold Gloves, 3 fielding Bibles during his time with Oakland. Following his All-Star season, he gets traded for Christian Pache, who's no longer with Oakland, current catcher Shane Langoliers, and a pair of pitching prospects. Third baseman Matt Chapman, Defensive Player of the Year, Gold Glove, Platinum Glove, Fielding Bibles. He gets traded for third baseman Kevin Smith, who got optioned earlier this year, and a trio of pitchers, one of which has already left the organization. Second baseman Marcus Semien. He had an incredible season after leaving Oakland, finished third in MVP voting for Toronto, and is currently on pace to have another All-Star season by leading the Texas Rangers. And if you thought that Matt Olson trade might have worked out since Shane Langoliers is the current catcher, well, he's starting because they traded away Gold Glove catcher Sean Murphy, who was establishing himself as an all-star right now in Atlanta. The result of losing all those players, a division-worst 60 wins, finishing 2022 27th in Major League Baseball home runs, 29th in RBIs, 30th in hits. Fans not only had to deal with watching every solid player be traded away, not re-signed, they had to deal with watching them thrive outside of Oakland. During this time, Coach Bob Melvin saw the writing on the wall, left for San Diego, only to be replaced by Mark Kotsay, who is making his first appearance as a manager after being a former player. Now, you can debate that teams often trade established players for prospects, and that maybe would work if you looked at ownership as a whole that was wanting to pay players. But you're looking at here a team that very well, based on current player performance they traded away, could be dominant, certainly above average, but where they are today is also a reflection of an owner that doesn't want to spend money on his team through players or stadium. And the stadium is becoming infamous for poor conditions. I know it may seem comical when you hear stories of stray cats inhabiting parts of the stadium, a possum that has taken over a broadcast booth. Oakland, though, has proposed new stadiums. The city just has refused them. And when you have a fan base that's watching players being shown the door, a stadium legitimately falling apart, and historically a poor performance on the field, a very real move to Las Vegas is on the horizon, and fans have just stopped showing up. In fact, Oakland's last 5 home games failed to draw 10,000 fans. And the fans that do show up seem to be more wanting to voice their displeasure with ownership than actually maybe watch the game. So to put this in a different perspective, the Baltimore Orioles just gave away shirts on May 29th to the first 15,000 fans. On June 10th, they're going to have an Adley Rutschman bobblehead. They have 25,000 of them prepared to give away. On Oakland's homestand, from May 11th to the 17th, they had an average attendance of 5,004 fans per game. That was capped by a Monday night low of 2,064 fans for a professional sporting event. So when I offer to you, this is a chance to watch history. It truly is. But history like this is only created when a team owner refuses to pay players, neglect its stadium, disrespect its fan base, and assume that just because a team has a city to call home, that the city will show up to support and embrace them. Love to know your thoughts on this video. Appreciate you watching it. And you know I will be back in the week with more commentary.